Oh, shit. Testing gain. Gain level 1, 2, 3. Oh, what the fuck? Why is my mic so quiet? I have it turned to max. Why is it not hitting the... Oh, man. Just gotta change it back to this again. Oh, jeez. I don't know what went wrong today. So it looks like we're not having any guests. Ah, man, this is a wreck. Alright. I'll be right back. Sorry, I gotta... I need to crop this image and make it so I could just put it in the corner while I talk about today's topics. It shouldn't take long. Oh shit. Sorry about that. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'll show you how I make my OBS assets. So right now I'm thinking of making like a banner. It's just like the eyes of my logo. So I gotta... You don't have to use GIMP for this kind of stuff. You just... Honestly, paint... Okay, so paint is like a screwdriver. And GIMP is like a cordless electric drill with 100 different settings about like oscillation, pulses, like it drills in one direction, it drills in another direction, and then like pulses, and then it can do like a little like a scatter with a bajillion different features. Now GIMP or Photoshop, they're all very extensive tools, but for something simple like this, it just takes too damn... Even if I actually knew how to use the fucking program, it's just way too much work for just like crop, cut, and paste and shift things around. So that's why I still use Paint. It's like if you wanna put some screws into like drywall, you don't use that electric drill with 100 different settings, right? That's just completely unnecessary. It just takes too long to do a simple task like what I'm trying to do here. So that's just my 2 cents in case anyone came here for graphics advice. So now I'm just gonna... what was I gonna do? I started running my mouth and I forgot what I was gonna do. Ah, shit. Okay, so... Maybe enlarge the face. No, just me just creepily staring at you. And waiting for guests to come along. What font did I use here? Currently, no co-host / guests. Yeah, I could just copy and drag this whole fucking thing over. Yeah. Hey, where's the drag icon? What the co-host or guest? It's fucking high quality graphics right here. Come on. There we go. Co-host / guests. Actually, no. What font was this? Fixed system. Okay. Come and join. Links below in description. Oh shit. I need to make the font size bigger. Maybe. Yeah, something like that. That's nice. That's cool. Now I gotta. Oh, come on. No! Fuck you. Ugh. Whatever. What the oh, okay. Oh, my legs hurt from today's workout. 2 hours. Oh. Currently, no guest. Co-host. Come and join. Links in the description. Oh, let's go bigger. I guess we could make a top, middle, bottom. Oh, the aspect ratio is a little fucky on this thing. Okay, all right. Yeah, I know that. Alright, let's save ooh. And crop just this for a really thin banner. No. Get a little more with that eyebrow going. There we go. That looks cool. Yeah. No guests. Banner. Okay. Now let's try this out. No guests. Thin banner. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Haha. Well, That kind of sucks. I guess I'll have to just... I hate having this black space on like the... on the right and the left side. I'm not sure what to do about it. Or I could just use this to block the bottom half of the screen. Then that's just that's kind of lame. Here, let me... I guess I'll crop it a little bit thinner. Or I could just make it really thin. So then I could just cover the bottom half of the screen. It won't be as big of a deal. But then if it gets too small and it's harder to read, I guess? Damn it. Alright, a little taller. A little bit taller. There we go, let's try that. Alright. Oh look, automatic left. Alright, I think that'll work. I think we'll make that work. Alright, that looks good. I'm happy. I got it all done with just paint. Yeah. Okay. So, I don't know what you guys think about the music. Made by yours truly. You can hear it in my older videos. As always, I guess, well, so, pardon me. I guess the show's starting now. And welcome. Sorry to make you wait an hour and 20 minutes. It looks like I'm an empty room rocker today. Nobody's here. Nobody could make it today, which is, I get it. We're all busy. That's fine. So, yeah. I don't really have much going on. I'm kind of tired, so I guess we'll just have to make it a little bit shorter today. I already burnt up all my energy just setting all this bullshit up. But it was worth it. I got these cool graphics going on. So, yeah. So, Mr. Samuel Erickson here commented on a video that I made 3 weeks ago, stating that he is looking forward to hearing all the in-depth nutrition and things I could not say on the TFM show yesterday, which was 3 weeks ago. Yeah, he just kept talking and talking, which is, duh, it's his show. You know, who am I to complain about it? But apparently people hung around and wanted to hear what I wanted to say, so other than just railing on the keto diet, which I guess I've earned a reputation for. What else did we wanted to talk about? I don't know. I got quite a bit. I covered quite a bit of ground on that show, and I at the end of that show, I thought everyone was pretty satisfied with it. I definitely overloaded TFM, and he either was insulted by it or it just gave him an aneurysm or something. So then he had to go to the bathroom to, I don't know, pop some aspirin. So, whatever. If my knowledge makes your brain hurt, I mean, that's kind of your problem, right? I've got a couple things about the vaccines, but I might as well just make a separate video on that. So, Mr. Erickson, if you're interested, I'll have to upload that video to MGTOW.tv, and I'll make it just for you if that's what you're looking for. But if not, then I don't know. Calories in, calories out. Really, that's about it. So, well, I guess rule number 1, calories in, calories out. Rule number 2, calories in, calories out, but also do it in a way that doesn't fuck your hormones up. Because whenever you mess with your hormones, then that affects how you feel. Whenever you feel bad, well, it makes it harder to control yourself. And then when it's harder for you to control yourself, then that's when you start giving in to your impulses. Then that's how you start gaining weight again. And I know a lot of people don't like counting calories because it's tedious, and it is sometimes a headache. And for people who aren't familiar with how to use like MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, it can be a pain in the ass. But look at what I just dealt with. Look how much of a fucking pain in the ass it is to set up all my streaming bullshit. And at the end of it, there's the reward. I get this cool graphic. I got this banner going at the bottom of my screen right here. Yeah. So that's the way I look at. I think that's one of the biggest things that changed my attitude about work and effort, and what really established my work ethic, is that as long as you understand that, one, everywhere you go in life, everywhere you look, there's always a learning opportunity. And second, that, well, one, and two, that you understand that in order to learn these things often enough, you have to apply yourself. You have to put in the effort. You have to swallow your ego and work with yourself, your environment, your resources to learn new things. You know, it's kind of a duh thing, but a lot of the duh things we have to be reminded of frequently, because that's a lot of times, even if you're an expert, that's where you start to fuck things up, is whenever you forget the basics. So there's someone who may or may not be in my real life that probably did this, probably wanted to remind me of the basics. And you know what? Maybe I might be sorry, maybe not. But you know who you are. Anyway, so back to counting calories. Sorry about the tangent. There is so much to learn by understanding nutrition, or understanding the food you buy or produce, and what happens whenever you put it in your mouth and chew it and swallow and digest it. There is so much to learn. It will, hashtag not sponsored, but it literally will change your life. But a lot of people just don't want to do it because they don't want to swallow their pride. They don't want to work. They don't want to gain better understanding of their bodies, their nutrition, their behavior, and their lives. It also requires some honesty to admit to yourself, you know, I kind of fucked up by doing these things. I kind of fucked up by not doing these things. I kind of fucked up by not paying attention to what I eat, how that affects my life, to how that affects my brain, my behavior, so on and so forth. Not only is that mentally taxing, like cognitively, like giving your IQ a run for its money, but it's also emotionally challenging, because you have to, again, admit to yourself, well, maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I have been doing something wrong. Maybe I've badmouthed people who have been telling me to do the correct thing in order to achieve my desired goal. So it just kind of hits. I guess I can understand how some people might be insulted by the mere suggestion of it, which is ironic, considering that some of these people, you know, who shall not be named, who, where was I going with this? So it's interesting how these people who shall not be named are usually for free speech and are super politically incorrect, yet they all themselves have a weak spot. You know, just like Jordan Peterson, right? Whenever he's all about there's only the truth, and then there's your opinion. There is no your truth, or however the quote goes, right? And then people start talking shit about his like wife getting cancer. Then he literally starts crying on camera. You know, we all have that weak spot. And how I overcame mine is that understanding that instead of confronting people and whenever they try to call me out for being wrong or talking out of my ass, which we all do at some point. We all do. The Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect is above us all. No one's above the Dunning-Kruger effect. Whenever people call me out, instead of simply disagreeing with them, I challenge them. Okay, so they tell me, all right, show me how I'm wrong. Show me, master. How do you do it? And sometimes I learn, and that's when I admit I'm wrong, and I say thank you for teaching me something new. And that's why I have Hater Hour. But I don't have anything for Hater Hour today, so sorry. There's not going to be any Hater Hour. So, and if someone corrects me, someone talks shit, say, hey, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro, and then turns around and then fails to point out to me what I did wrong when I say, okay, show me what I did wrong. Then I know that person is a fucking moron, and I usually blow that person off. So, there's my secret to not getting mad whenever I'm wrong. So, I don't know if that really, I guess I don't know if that answers Mr. Erickson's question here, but that's the best I got. I'm sorry, today's been a mess. But on the other hand, I mean, at least I got the MGTOW TV stream going. So I don't know if you guys can see me on MGTOW TV. Hi. Hello to my 255 subscribers. And yeah, it's going to be... yeah. I don't know what else to say on that topic. Thank you. And I guess we will... what else could we do today? Let me go look at my Discord for the show topics. And by the way, if anyone here wants to become a streamer like me, I will tell you, you need a good mic. Spend money on a good mic. Spend money on a computer with a very big CPU with many cores. Multi-thread as much as possible. So a CPU with at least 8 cores and as much RAM as you can stick in there. You're gonna need lots of RAM. You're gonna do lots of multiple tasks all at once, multiple threads of video being fed in and out of your computer. Obviously, you need some decent internet. And yeah, that's just a PSA. Streaming is very computationally demanding. You definitely want some firepower. You want some horsepower and you need to bring some horsepower up to that show. So okay, let's go look at the Discord. Let's see what else I had for the topics. Show topics. Well, I guess it's good that I have this collection of show topics on my Discord server, so we have things to talk about. And I'll have a little fun thing at the end. So I guess I kind of hate to get back into politics, so I guess we could just touch on this. It's just kind of funny. Just kind of made me laugh. So, buses, New York Times. This is Sunday's news. So, buses of migrants arrive at Kamala Harris's home on Christmas Eve. Washington, D.C., I'm guessing. Over 100 migrants arrived near Vice President Kamala Harris's home on a Saturday evening, one of the chilliest Christmas Eves in the Capitol, according to Mutual Aid Group. So about 130 quote-unquote immigrants arrive in New York on Christmas Day, but the buses were rerouted to Washington area because of road closures and frigid conditions. They arrived after a 36-hour journey, some with few clothes or a light blanket. They got food. Mutual Aid provided food, coats, and I guess travel coordination. Below 20. Okay, well, it gets cold in New York. Mutual aid group said the buses were sent by the Texas Division of Emergency Management, which follows the directive of Governor Greg Abbott's office. Mr. Abbott's office has not immediately responded to the request for comment. They have been doing that for a few months now. It's all for spectacle. Miss Ball said of the governor's office, cruelty is the point. It's awful to use people in this manner for political reasons. 3 buses appear to be sent by Republican governors. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, hold on. The 3 buses appear to be the latest sent by Republican governors. Okay, so before I continue reading, this just reeks of like some kind of like prank. What I think is going on is that the Republicans are like, they're trying to fuck with the Democratic Party by sending like immigrants to the residence of Democrat politicians. So like, I don't know if you guys heard of this. Would you let a refugee in your house? So I think Steven Crowder or something did a video on this. This is funny. Where is it? Okay, hold on. I'm not finding what I'm looking for here. Oh, did he get fucking yoinked from YouTube? Oh shit. Okay, let me see if I can find the video in like some other alternative platforms. Is it Steven Crowder? I don't know. I can't. Oh, God, what happened to that video? That's fucking crazy. It's already gone. Anyway, okay. So, in any case, so I think it's Steven Crowder. Don't quote me. But he was like doing this video in Canada, where he just asked like strangers in the street. They asked, "Do you believe that we should allow political refugees to come into our city?" Which I guess it was like Vancouver or something. And a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I'd love to bring a refugee into my house." But then he literally brings a little refugee. He's like, "Hey, here's Mo," and Mo's not even like that intimidating. He's just kind of like this frumpy, kind of sad looking, tall, like Middle Eastern guy, and he's just wearing a sweater and he's just sitting there, just relaxing, I guess. And then people, once they actually see him, they're like, "Oh no, I'm sorry. Actually, I don't have any room in my apartment. No, I can't bring this refugee in." And then the whole video is just like all kinds of people. They just all do the same thing. They all say, "Oh yeah, I'd love a refugee. I'd love to bring refugees in, man. I'm all about like protecting refugees." But then whenever the Crowder or whoever was making the video, they pull Mo out, they all respond in the same way. "Oh no, I don't. My house is full. Oh, I don't have any. My heater's broken," or some other bullshit excuse just to like excuse themselves from the lie that they just told. So it's just, I think the same thing's going on here. It's like some man or woman of influence organized like this well orchestrated prank against Kamala Harris, and it's just fun. That's all I gotta say. That's why this news report stuck out to me, and I just thought that was just funny. I think it's a prank. I think the Republicans are capping on these poor Democrats. So, you know, hey, what better way is there to put money where your mouth is, other than like taking on a bus of 130 immigrants into your house as a leftist politician? I mean, it sounds good to me. I don't know how this shook out afterwards, but I don't care. It's funny, and I hope you laugh too. So, let's see what other dumb shit showed up in my newsfeed. Okay, why is my kid so obsessed with farts and poop? Written by Casey Clark, Wednesday, December 28th. She's a poopy head. Ooh, who farted? These are phrases you may hear in a kindergarten classroom or the playground, typically accompanied by laughter and giggles from young children. For adults, however, this delight in the scatological can be embarrassing or annoying, especially if it happens in public. But if this type of potty talk is normal and fleeting, experts say just because your child won't stop talking about farts and poop now doesn't mean it will last forever. And so there are ways to address the crude conversations in a shame-free way ahead. Experts explain kids' fascination with smelly stuff and share advice on talking about bodily functions. Explaining the fascination. Every child is different, but for many toddlers who, between diapers and potty training, are used to having their own ahem output discussed and examined at length, there's a certain intrigue about natural bodily functions. Quote, young children... okay, it's a she doctor. Young children are obsessed with bodily functions in general, and the fact that their body can produce objects and make funny noises is something they like to talk about, says Dr. Denise Scott, a pediatrician and Just Answer expert, tells Yahoo Life. And additionally, kids love to get a rise out of adults, especially their parents, and talking about farts and poop is an easy way to do it. Kids latch onto the words you prefer them not to use, and these words will be repeated once they get a reaction out of the adults, Scott explains. To get a reaction from an adult can feel pretty powerful to a child, so they would do it again and again. And for many kids, this is the time period when they are starting to develop their sense of humor. Not only are children working with a limited amount of content to draw humor from, but they are also discovering and testing out what words can be shocking and cause laughter when they are. Michelle Felder, a licensed clinical social worker and therapist for Parenting Pathfinders, says. Responding in a shame-free way, Felder encourages parents to avoid shaming kids for having bodily functions or for talking about them, noting that shame is not a healthy tool for encouraging a child to change their behavior. Parents remind kids that passing gas is one way the body stays healthy. Okay, yeah. Duh, blah, blah, blah. They should be clear about expectations. Leave space. Okay, I'm sorry. They should then be clear about expectations. I can't read. I'm sorry. Then they should be clear about what the expectations are and leave space for the reality that not all bodily functions are predictable. In response to child passing gas, Felder says the parent could say, I know that you just farted, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with farting. All humans do it, and it's good for us. The thing is that something we should try to do our best in a private space, and if we're around other people, we should say excuse me or pardon me when we're done. Rachel Heitman, a licensed clinical mental health counselor, adds that when kids in her playroom fart, she responds by telling them that surprised you. It is neutral, and lets the child know that I heard it, and I accept them as they are, she tells Yahoo Life. Well, yeah. I guess I said it better than I could. I hope you learned something from this article, because this is what fucking journalists are being paid to write. Yeah, there you go. Knocked out 2 articles in one show. Fuck yeah. Kicking ass today in spite of the technical problems. What else? So I guess another one of my guilty. So next article. One of my guilty pleasures is probably Reddit. And I just thought this was interesting and worth sharing from, especially on a show like today. What happens in our brains whenever we see something beautiful? So a lot of your emotions, whether it's anxiety, anger, terror, happiness, sadness, no feeling at all, apathy, ennui, there's often a neurochemical component to it. But I just thought, okay, what about something highly abstract, something really unique to a human experience? Whenever you see something beautiful, you go to the wilderness, you see mist hanging very closely at the tips of the trees, or you're at a lake in front of a mountain, and you see like the pattern of the mountain reflecting over the water. Let me think. Let me see if I can find a picture. something like this, right? And obviously what you're seeing on the computer screen can't compare to real life, but you go see this something like this in real life, you're like, wow, like you're Owen Wilson, right? So my question is, okay, so whenever witnessing something beautiful, again, a unique experience to humans, probably, maybe. Where was it? Damn it. I just had it for a second. Okay. What happens in our heads, neurochemically speaking? So, Sode79, 12 years ago, wrote, this is a very difficult question to answer. First, let's think about what calmness and tranquility is. Researchers often think of affect, for example, a feeling, but not a full emotion, as lying along two dimensions, one for arousal and one for valence. And fear, it would be an example of a high arousal negative emotion. Depression would be a low arousal negative emotion. And calmness or tranquility would be a low arousal positive emotion. This is not how all researchers think about affect, but it is the model that I'm most familiar with. So according to this model, anything that will cause a low arousal positive effect would result in calm tranquility, and therefore it can be triggered by a number of any brain states such as stimulation of serotonin or opioid receptors. I guess that brings the phrase "Wow, dude, that is dope" to a whole new meaning, right? Right? Ha! Knee slap. All right. Piotr Winkelmann, particularly his 2003 chapter and 2006 Psych Science paper, and most of his papers are available in the above. And this here hyperlink thinks that some sense of beauty is the result of efficiency of cognitive processing. I gotta chew on that. As for your second question, is why do we feel these emotions? Most researchers would probably say that their purpose is to direct thoughts and behaviors. Low arousal positive effect may be a signal that something is safe or desirable, that we should stay where we are, or we are making adequate progress towards our goals. We may find certain landscapes beautiful because of those types of landscapes that are the ones that we thrive in. You know, familiarity gives you a sense of security, tranquility, which is serotonin, maybe melatonin. Lush vegetation, close proximity to water, forests that contain game, etc. A problem with this theory is that it can't really be scientifically tested, so it's only speculation. Well, the other issue is that, like, this is what is beautiful. That's entirely a qualitative measurement, so you can't put numbers on a quality. You can put numbers on a quantity. You can see how, I guess, at some point in the future we'll be able to measure the chemical concentrations or receptor activity of different neurotransmitters, and then but then that only tells us, oh, this person responds to this environment in this way to this degree, but it doesn't measure beauty. And furthermore, and taking a step back and looking at it at the big picture philosophically, so then, like, philosophically speaking, okay, well, the stone man, let me think, the thinker, this guy, he's gonna ask us, all right, what is beauty? Oh, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I guess that's like a very vague, cliche, trite statement, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But there is now that we have this magic called neurochemistry, we can look at, okay, well, there's subjective balance or a subjective response, subjective neurochemical response to different environments. For example, maybe I don't like mountains. I prefer, I don't know, a canyon or a waterfall. I think that's better because I don't like mountains because, I don't know, mountains touched me wrong when I was younger. Or some stupid shit like, or maybe like I hated where I grew up, and I grew up where there was a lot of mountains, so looking at mountains reminds me of the shitty place that I spent my miserable childhood in. So because of that, I'd rather look at canyons. And canyons or waterfalls. Canyons and waterfalls give me the, I guess you could say, using this terminology, a low arousal positive emotion and makes me feel calm. It is soothing. It is pleasing, easy on the eyes, right? As an euphemism for beautiful. Usually applied to older men looking at younger women, right? So perhaps that is the scientific basis to the statement that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Because whatever produces a low arousal positive emotion, or conversely, what produces a low or high arousal negative emotion, is going to be different for me than it is for other people. So, voila. I did not expect this topic to actually go through in that depth, but hey, c'est la vie. That's life. And I embrace it. Okay, what other streaming content, whatever topics do we have today? A drag show, a protest, and a line of guns. How the battle over one issue is tearing at America. Yeah, like there's not a billion other things threatening to shred America to pieces. As if that's really a problem, is it? Anyway, let's blow through this article real quick. See if there's anything good in here. It's a crisp fall day in North Texas, and the sky is shining as bright as the high-gloss paint on the 62 Corvair in a classic car show staged on Oak Street downtown. The Corvair glows duckling yellow. The sky is robin's egg blue. The air after, okay, you know what? Fuck this exposition. It's Texas. Yeehaw. All right. Blah blah blah. They're here because the food. They're here for the food. Blah blah blah. I don't care. What city is this? Roanoke. Roanoke City. I just saw it at the top, didn't I? Anyway. Exposition. What the fuck? Come on, get to the article. Okay. So, the Barrel Babes Drag Brunch, which was a drag show in Roanoke, Texas? Roanoke, Texas. Barrel Babes Drag Brunch. Ooh. All ages welcome. All right, there it is. There's the key. Okay. Letting kids into drag shows, so on and so forth. Let's play this. All right, let's stop the music in case you guys have trouble hearing the... Okay.
So Roanoke is just a community, just a few miles up north. It's a place that is really, really known for its wonderful restaurants. So yeah, it's just up the street, one of the suburbs, I guess, of Fort Worth.
We got out of the car and I looked over and there were people dressed in full black with guns slung around their back. And I looked closer and I noticed that they had like rainbow patches, and I saw a trans patch. And I thought, I think they're friendlies.
Wow.
In Roanoke, there was a drag brunch held at a restaurant owned by a family. What it culminated in was a number of photos, videos that were quite striking.
I'm here to support people that don't indoctrinate and groom little 8-year-old kids. Hey, Blue! Hey, she just spit on me!
There were minor scuffles between the protesters and the anti-fascists that were there to sort of effectively act as a buffer between the attendees and the protesters.
Like, that was the first time I was like, oh wow, we're at this point. Like, we're at a point where we have to be defending ourselves with weapons, because...
So I know that is the straightest looking drag queen, like drag performer I've ever seen. I just want to point that out. Okay, let's give credit where it's due. You never know. You never know who's a fucking... Okay, I'm sorry.
People are threatening us on a daily basis.
Well, Roanoke's a small town. There's all kinds of people living here. But that kind of happens in Dallas, you know what I'm saying? And I think the morning of the event, we got a picture, what I'm saying. Is
that a Polaris slingshot? Sorry, distraction. I guess it is. It's got that little top. That's neat. Wow. These fucking Texans. Anyway.
Morning of the event, we got a picture with like a bunch of armed, masked people standing in front of the building. And I mean, my blood ran cold. Like, I don't care if you run around masked with guns. I don't care. But when...
Oh, this guy's from South Africa. Explains the Dutch name. Anton van Vuren. Nice.
With like a bunch of armed, masked people standing in front of the building. And I mean, my blood ran cold. Like, I don't care if you run around masked with guns. I don't care. But when there are children in the vicinity, that is very irresponsible. And I feel the same about anybody that brings violence to any society. I don't care who it is.
You know, I was thankful that they were there to make sure, because basically they were there protecting the drag queens. We actually spoke to one of them inside, and I asked, who are y'all? I didn't even know. I basically said, I didn't know that liberals carried guns like that. I just didn't know.
I said, how are we doing out here?
The Roanoke event was one of a series of events. At those other events, there had been members of the Proud Boys. There had been members of the Proud Boys with bear mace, wearing, gloves that are designed for fighting, that have reinforced knuckles, other things like that.
To think that there are people out there that are saying that, like, kids being exposed to this is dangerous to them, it kind of blows my mind, because I'm like, I literally know kids that have tried to take their own lives, because of the type of oppression and bullying that they got. And then drag was able to pull them out of that dark place. We want people to come to our shows that are appropriate age for the certain shows that they are. So if it's at a bar and it's 21 and up, of course we're not asking kids to come out to that. If it's Pride and it's a public event where everyone can celebrate their identity and who they are, and kids are there, please, we want you to come out. Like, if I am told, hey, there are children in the audience, or hey, this is a more conservative type show, I'm gonna change what I do, and I'm gonna make sure my entertainers do the same thing. What we want is, we wanna show that this community is welcoming, and that if at any time you don't feel like you can be yourself, the drag community, LGBTQ community can be that welcoming family for you.
This magical turnout you'll have here proves that love beats hate.
You know, everybody knew what was going on outside, but inside, everybody was laughing and having a good time. And I would say there were old people, there were young people, there were straight, there were gay. I mean, it really was everybody. And when we got in the car, my kid said it was one of the best things he'd ever done.
When the men dress up like women, it's the highest heels, the most makeup, the longest eyelashes, the tightest clothing. So it is the sexualization of a female. And that's what's presented, no matter how...
I like to correct Anton, or whoever, this guy here. I think the way I understand drag is that it's a parody of a female. So is it like a sexual display? Is it something like intending to be pornographic, or is it just like almost like a comedy? Maybe it's just interpretive art. It is art, clearly, and there's clearly a demand for it. Both male and female are, I guess a lot of the performers are male. A lot of the fans are female. So I wouldn't. That's just my thoughts on the matter, on that specific topic right there.
Time it is to the children. And that's my problem. So I don't understand why can't we just keep kids away from all of this? I have no wish whatsoever to take my children to anything like that. Even if I don't care how they pan out. And I mean, I will love them no matter how they turn out, but I'm not taking them to things to reaffirm what they believe. My point is, the event should not have happened, because that would have then nothing would have happened. If it was a Friday night for a bunch of adults, there would have been a few people complaining, but for the most part, nobody would have batted an eye.
I don't think that allowing children to transition and celebrating that is the right thing to be doing. I think that taking them to some therapy and sitting them down and getting to the bottom of the issue, why are you feeling this way? I think that's the appropriate response.
I'm so terrified for the kids who don't have a family like ours, but who have children like mine. And I saw in my kid, he felt love and acceptance. The idea that there's a kid who can go to a family drag brunch and see love and acceptance, I don't see how it's bad. I just don't.
They might feel like that sort of event is where they belong, I guess. I still feel like it's not. I might gain some insight from talking to a drag queen as to what their motives are, but at the same time, given that my issue is when children are going to the shows, I don't see it being too beneficial to sit down and talk to one.
I think there is a deeper motivation here in terms of affecting policy at school board and state level when it comes to education, sort of the broader push around affecting school board policies and elections, the framing of children, the books that they're exposed to, the education that they're exposed to. The tie-in here with the drag brunches is that, it's another form of corrupting our youth, and we've got to fight back and stand against it. And so I think these battles in the school boards and, sort of tangentially around them are causing division in communities that previously may have been known for being sleepy.
So this drag brunch came to my attention when this group of parents in the community who goes out and ultimately hunts down teachers that they don't agree with somehow found the invitation to the drag brunch on Facebook.
Teachers, any teachers in the audience?
Within a few hours, once it was over, it was a full-on witch hunt where they were naming teachers. They were saying, look at this picture. Everyone look at these pictures. Are there any teachers in these pictures? Have we informed the school board members? And people are like, yes, the school board knows. We're calling the principals. We're going to get these people fired. This is child abuse. I mean, some of the comments were abhorrent. So the teachers did not get fired. The teachers' jobs were safe because they didn't do anything wrong, right? Like, teachers can go to a drag brunch on a Sunday morning if they want.
So this is my vanity. It's never really an issue about the kids. It's not. It's about queer culture and queer people being present in the mainstream. And that's the question I hope people ask is like, are we protesting kids being at drag brunches, or are we protesting LGBT people? That whole moment, that day, to me, tells us what's wrong right now in this whole as a country, is we are not focusing on the right things.
Okay, all right. So what I gather from this, what's going on here, is that the drag queens, so both parties here are making the mistake of projecting their own feelings and expecting the whole world to cater to them. So the pro-drag queen side is they look at some fringe cases of LGBTQWERTYUIOP plus youth who had a hard time in life and people incessantly bullied, mocked, rejected them, and these young people oofed themselves. And they decide, okay, in order to prevent this immaculately small percentage of the population in order to prevent this small, like single-digit minority percentage of the population from committing suicide, we must flash this culture, their art, their style, if not in memoriam, then to either memorialize or prevent the repression, oppression, and general discomfort, emotional discomfort of this youth. That's what they want. And of course, they don't look at the data of what percentage of the population are actually at risk of this degree of social rejection and overall misery. The anti-drag queen side, they are projecting the feelings that, oh, I don't like it. I don't know if my kids like it or not, but I'm going to project my own distaste for this form of art and expect everyone else to cater to it. So, I'm not here to say who's right or wrong. I don't care. Thank God I don't live in Texas and have to deal with this nonsense. What is my personal opinion about it? I'm kind of split. I hate to sound like Tim Pool, but I mean, I think that's just a reasonable approach to this issue. So I, as you might have noticed, I am somewhat artistically inclined. I've had history of being quote-unquote rejected by society for behaving different, chiefly. More than the fact that I am not white. More than the fact that I am more than my race, and more than, I guess, that's about it. More than my race, what really caused me to struggle with socialization as a younger AVC is the fact that I just wasn't simply interested in all the things other people did. I didn't care what other people were into. I've been told I have Asperger's, so maybe that puts me somewhere there. And in some ways, I guess I could, I'm kind of a weirdo. I dress a bit differently than most people. Not enough to be instantly rejected at a job interview, but I stand out. And I first kind of hated it because it made me socially inept. It was the reason why I didn't have friends. Now, I eventually learned to say, fuck it. You don't like me? That's your problem. And then my confidence just started to shoot through the roof. I finally knew what the fuck the word confidence meant. And my life only improved from there on. Sure, I was creating more conflict, but I embraced the conflict, understanding that that's just the fires that make the steel, that's the fires that strengthen the steel of a sword. So, I think that what I would suggest to the pro-drag queen people and the youth is there's ways to resolve yourself other than through suicide. There's ways to resolve your life problems. And once you understand that whatever you do, not everyone's going to be happy, not everyone's going to get it, not everyone's going to like it. Once you understand that, then that's one less reason to kill yourself, right? I guess maybe that goes to like on a tangential thing about like self-acceptance and self-esteem and pride, ego. These things have to come within yourself, within your understanding of where you stand in the world, where other people stand, what they see when they look at you, and obviously what you see whenever you look back at them. But you don't have to start a drag queen show to explain this to people. There's already acceptance for drag queens, even from me, who isn't particularly interested about that. I don't care, You have a freedom of expression. You have a freedom to be an artist. That's exactly what you're doing. It's art. I can totally agree with that. I can even empathize with that. So maybe in this, from what I'm thinking right this second, I'm slightly leaning towards the drag queen side. Now, I understand that for other people who this isn't their taste, not everyone's gonna, back to my 4 rules of communication video, right? Now, rule number 3, not everyone's gonna like it. No, rule 2 and 3, not everyone's gonna get it and not everyone's gonna like it. These are, yeah, whether it's written communication, verbal communication, your mere presence, your body language, these 4 rules always apply. And I'm fully embracing people, adults, obviously, who like to be drag queens and practice their art. I'm sure it's a skill. I'm sure it takes a lot of skill to put on everything, put on the makeup, put on the wig, make it all, and then dance and then sing. That is a craft. I can respect that. Now, obviously, there are a small number of reports where there were instances of adult men in full drag that molested children, And that's kind of, that's not so artistic. That's just straight up child molestation. I don't need to insult your intelligence to state that I don't commend that. But I guess I'll say that anyway as a disclaimer. I do not commend child molestation. Duh. So, and then whenever people, and of course the news will always look to sensationalize that, because all these cocksuckers, this USA Today and any other journal company, all they care about is getting clicks. That's how they get paid, data brokering, and so on and so forth. Now, a group of people who already have a distaste towards drag queens, they will look at this small number of incidences and blow it out of proportion, and this causes kind of like this fear response in their heads. So then once they say, oh, well, I heard about this one instance where a drag queen molested a child, so therefore all drag queens are potential child molesters, which I understand. That's your kind of emotional response, because especially if you have children, and if you have children that like this stuff too. Then at that point, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, pedophiles and child molesters come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. You never know who really is one and who isn't. And that's just grounds for like another like Salem witch trials kind of situation. And yeah. How do you prevent that? Well, I can't prevent people from thinking or having opinions. So, if you, in short, my opinion about it is I firmly believe in freedom of expression. And right now we're seeing a group of people that are threatening to change the laws of freedom of expression, because so then let's say we do ban drag queens. Okay, no more drag queens, because voters in Roanoke, Texas are scared about some news report about a drag queen molesting a child far, far away, Yeah, okay. Then that opens the portal for other forms of restrictions of free speech, which we are already at the behest of, in case you haven't observed. Yours truly being a good example of how censorship is already leaking through. But the second we give any exemptions to the freedom of expression rule, that's almost every fucking time is just a slippery slope down to you censor me, I censor you, and then it's just censorship wars. And then everybody gets censored, then all of a sudden when everybody's censored, well, nobody's censored. So then what the hell did you even accomplish in the long run? So my advice to the drag queen camp, the pro drag queen camp, don't do this show and expect that to somehow prevent suicide. You have to, as like that lady in the, where was she? As like this lady was talking about, okay, well, if you want to help kids out, she has a good point. If you want to help LGBT youth and prevent them from suicide, you talk to them individually. But then I guess the counter argument from the drag queen is that, okay, well, if we can't fish out the suicide in the potential suicide victims, because a lot of them don't talk about it because they feel oppressed. And they're oppressed by these guys, concerned, quote unquote, conservative parents, because they feel icky about it. But then that kind of goes back to the rule of free speech. You're allowed to say whatever you want so long as it's not, quote unquote, hurting other people. But is it hurting other people? Well, it's making people who don't like drag feel uncomfortable. Right. But I'm sure these guys feel uncomfortable whenever society doesn't accept them. But is society rule 2 and 3? Not everyone's going to get what you do. Not everyone's going to like what you do. So is it society's fault that they don't accept and understand your craft, your art? I don't think so. So, I mean, the long and short of my opinion on this is that everyone's fucking fifis. We all expect the world to cater to our fucking fifis because we're all pansies. We're all emotional children and deep inside. And I forgot what the hell this guy was talking about, but it probably doesn't matter. It's just a reporter. So, yeah. That's all I got for you on this topic. I don't know who's still watching. I'm probably still rocking the empty room. One watching right now. That's probably this window right here. Fuck. So, in any case, it is already well over 2 hours. Well, then again, I only looked at, I only went through like about an hour of content. I don't know, let's have a commercial break with no commercials. So, our sponsors, we don't have any sponsors right now, except for David _ Cuno. He is a guy from Colombia who wants to work with American and European clients regarding selling his marketing services. And he seems to have a lot of time on his hands, and he's hungry. So let me know through Discord if you need a marketing advisor, analyst, and consultant. David _ Cuno. He seems to know his shit, and I highly recommend him. And the other sponsor for today's show is me. I need some help with my IT problems, even though I consider myself fairly adept with computers, but clearly not, because I had to delay the show for an hour because of tech problems. So if you or anyone you know is really fluent, is really handy with, or better yet, experienced with streaming, networking, or if you just want to help copy and paste all the shit from my Discord server to my gilded.gg server, let me know. We might be able to negotiate something. If not, then I guess then you guys gotta wait, because I've got a day job and I work 40 hours a week there, and it's a squeeze. Time management really is a pain in the ass. So if you want to see content come quicker, you can either come and help me out or donate money. You can donate in the links. I believe there's some links in the description of this stream right here. The more you pay me, the more time I'll probably spend working on streaming. And if I get enough, I might stream full time. So if you want to see that, drop me some dollar. Anyway, so I need a break. I need to go eat something. I'm not eating enough. And maybe I'll hit you with that fun topic I mentioned earlier. So stay tuned. Ooh, hey, that's cool. Haha. Ah, man. Well, looks like we still don't have any guests, so... To anyone who was anticipating more, I decided to cut the stream short, and I will work on a video. Either a video, or I might do a bonus stream sometime tomorrow. And you can, if you're interested, I will post my schedule on my Discord channel, or excuse me, my Discord server in the, what is it called? What did I call it? The stream schedule and what? Stream schedule and updates text channel. So, yeah, sorry to disappoint you. One more time, in case you guys didn't know. Sponsors today is David_Cuno, marketing analyst, advisor, and consultant. He is from Colombia. He is hungry to work with English-speaking clients from US, or I guess North America and Europe, because I guess he wants to move there. I don't know. He seems to know his stuff, so yeah. Let me know on Discord, Gilded, or email me at angryvegancyclist@gmail.com. Links are in the description. And I'm also looking for people to help me out with my stream setup, because clearly I suck at it, and that's why this stream took so long to take off. So, yeah. So that's it for today's stream. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging around through and after the technical difficulties, if anyone's still watching. Probably just me today. I got some stuff to work on. So, see you next time.